Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today we are taking a look at gum brands. Two things I'm going to be considering is flavor, how good does the gum taste, and also just as importantly, how long does the flavor actually last when you start chewing it. So starting us off, we have Wrigley's Double Mint. This is pretty average as far as mint flavored gum goes for me. The flavor is pretty standard, there's nothing special. It has a decent taste, definitely not bad by any means. But the flavor itself doesn't last for a super long time. One thing I will say is Wrigley's Double Mint is super cheap. I mean, you can get this at gas stations or convenience stores for super cheap. So if you really can't afford other gum, I guess you could go for this one. It's definitely a good deal. But overall, it's just nothing really too special. So it'll find itself comfortably in the C tier. Up next, we have Double Bubble. Now, this is the kind of gum that I would get for Halloween all the time as a kid. And you pop it in your mouth, and man, it is so good. It's so sugary, so sweet, such a good bubblegum flavor. That being said, the flavor itself is gone in like 45 seconds to a minute. This gum probably loses its flavor faster than any other on this list. And I'm just really not a fan of gums that lose their flavor that fast. It is really sugary, tastes good right at the beginning. But really loses its flavor super fast, so it'll find itself in kind of a lower end of the C tier. Up next, we have Trident. Now, I think Trident is really good. They have decent mint flavors, but I think if you want mint flavored gum, you should probably go with a different brand that I think is going to be better. But Trident, what I think they do really well is, as you can see in this picture, they have fruit flavors, whether it's Trident layers or just an individual fruit flavor like orange. I think they're all really good. Definitely one of the best fruit flavored gum brands in my opinion. And flavor wise, it does last a pretty good amount of time, especially the fruit flavors. Most sweet gum I find usually loses its flavor pretty quick, but Trident does a good job of making it last pretty long. So it's not the best gum on the market. The mint, like I said, isn't the best gum, but it is pretty good, and it's a pretty good deal. So Trident gonna find itself solidly in the A tier. Up next, we have Juicy Fruit. This is another one of Wrigley's, just individual single gum flavors. This is their fruity version. And Juicy Fruit, it used to be probably my favorite flavor of gum when I was younger. And even today, I think it is still really good. It has really good flavor and also pretty good longevity in terms of how long you can actually taste the flavor. It's nothing super special, but overall, it's just a really solid choice. Good flavor, lasts a while, pretty good deal. Juicy Fruit, gonna find itself in the A tier. Up next, we have Extra. Now, Extra, I think, they're known for their mint flavored gums. And I think they do a pretty good job. They are really cheap. You can buy buy it in bulk for pretty cheap. You can get like 5 packs of Extra gum for like a few bucks at a Target or something. And, I think it's pretty good. It lasts a decent amount of time. Not the best. It's pretty just a solid mint flavor to go for. If you're really feeling something minty, I think Extra is a good choice. It's not fantastic. None of the flavors really taste that great. But if you need some gum to freshen up your mouth, Extra is always a good choice. So gonna find itself in a solid B tier. Up next, we have 5 Gum. This is probably my favorite gum on the list. They have a lot of really good flavors. Their mint flavors are really good. Some of their fruitier flavors are really good. And the main thing for 5 Gum for me is that its flavor lasts a really long time. 5 Gum lasts longer than any other gum on this list for me when I chew it. So 5 Gum, just really don't have anything bad to say about it. Really the only drawback is that it's more expensive than other gum typically, but for me, that's not a big deal. It makes up for it in flavor, taste, and longevity, so 5 Gum, gonna be in the S tier. Up next, we have Orbit. Orbit for me is kind of like a discount extra. It's usually gonna be a little bit cheaper. The mint flavor usually isn't quite as good, not quite as fresh as Extra, and it's gonna last just not quite as long. So it's really just a cheaper discount extra for me. And for that reason, Orbit's gonna find itself in a C tier, but a strong C tier. Up next, we have Gumballs. Now, Gumballs have a special place in my heart for me when I was younger. I can still remember all the time asking my parents for quarters to go to the gumball machine to get a gumball. It was so much fun seeing what flavor of gumball, what color you're gonna get. And, well, I will say, the flavors themselves aren't fantastic. There's a really good variety of flavors, and there's a lot of good ones in there. There's a lot of okay ones in there as well. But the flavors themselves don't last a super long time. I've noticed some of them will last a little bit longer than others, but overall, usually only going to get a couple minutes of really good flavor out of gumballs. But just the nostalgia factor for me for gumballs brings them up a little bit, so they're going to find themselves in the B tier. Up next, we have Big League Chew. This is a bubblegum flavor, and I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but if you open it up, it's kind of like, it almost looks like shredded cheese, and so you kind of just grab like a handful and put it in your mouth. It's an interesting form of gum for sure. Definitely unique. But flavor-wise, I don't think it's anything fantastic. In terms of the purely bubblegum flavored gums, I think it's pretty good. It is a bit more expensive, and the flavor, I will say, lasts a little bit longer than traditional bubblegums, but it's not fantastic. It's going to find itself in the C tier for me. Up next, we have Hubba Bubba Bubblegum Tape. This, for me, I mean, I loved buying this as a kid, you know, unrolling the gum, throwing it in your mouth, breaking off a piece, giving to your friends. Definitely really fun to eat this gum, but flavor-wise, it was really only okay. Similar to Double Bubble, it was really sugary, tasted really good at the beginning, and it lost its flavor really quick. For me, if I want a bubblegum flavor gum, I'm probably going to go with Big League Chew instead. So Hubba Bubba Bubblegum Tape, it's just kind of, you know, the appeal of having the tape itself is cool, but flavor-wise and longevity is not great, so it's going to find itself in the D tier. Up next, we have Winter Fresh. Winter Fresh, I'm not a huge fan of. It's definitely an okay mint gum, but definitely not one of my go-tos. I think flavor-wise, it's definitely one of the more bland mint-flavored gums, and also in terms of longevity, I think it definitely loses its flavor much faster than other mint-flavored gums. And Winter Fresh, when it does lose its mint flavor, I've noticed it has kind of a worse taste in my mouth compared to other gums, so not a huge fan of it. Gonna find itself in the D tier. Up next, we have Big Red. Now, if you like something like hot tamales, or you really like cinnamon, you'll probably like Big Red. But I'm not a huge fan of spicy flavored candy, or particularly spicy flavored gum, and that's definitely what Big Red is. It's not super spicy by any means, but having the kind of the sharpness to it and the cinnamon flavor, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge cinnamon guy myself either, so Big Red, I will say its flavor does last a decent amount of time, but strictly speaking on the flavor level, it's definitely my least favorite gum on the list, and for those reasons, it's going to find itself in the F tier. Well, that's my gum tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed.